Now, it's a beautiful sunny day, almost hot in the sun. In fact, it is quite hot in the sun. But we're out detecting at our first settlement, our favourite settlement, our half-crown settlement. And I'm sort of exploring new ground, going a bit further afield. And I've just been digging rubbish, but then I had a 19 here. And I'm just sort of looking around for some signs of China or anything that will give me a clue whether there was any buildings around here or anything. But anyhow, I had a 19 here. You can see that there. I was a little bit hesitant to call it a ring, but I reckon it could well be a ring. It's sort of got that ringy look to it. So whether it's old or not, I don't know. Fact is, it is very, 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 very light. So I'm only going to say it's not old at all. It's probably aluminium. So I thought it might have been an old brass one, but it is very light. So whether it even is a ring, I don't know. But I'll give it a clean and we'll see what we've got. I'm sort of in two minds whether that is a ring or not, or whether it's just a aluminium band off something. But anyway, it's aluminium for sure. Got a bit of a pattern around there, but otherwise there's no markings in it. So I'd nearly say it's a cheap, cheap aluminium ring, but otherwise it's just some band off something. With the warmer weather, I'm really keeping a sharp eye out for legless lizards in this grass around here. Anyway, something a bit different down here. Had a good signal down here. We're sort of in a low spot here. So I don't think there would have been any buildings down here, but they may have dumped rubbish down here. But we've got this one, brass, and it's some kind of, looks like an old binder, whether it had pages attached to it. It's got little loops still on there. So whether they were attached to paper at some stage, or cardboard, or else it's something else. But anyway, solid brass, so I'm not quite sure. Just over there on top of this mound here, I found a suspender buckle, and there's a couple of bricks here, and then down here I was sort of digging away trying to find it. Finally got it out, and it is a saw medallion. You can already see a kangaroo on there, so it's an Aussie one. I'll give it a clean and we'll have a look at it. That says there, corporate mark kangaroo. That is a beautiful little saw medallion. I've not seen that one before, certainly not found it before, so that is a beautiful piece of Aussie history. So, corporate mark kangaroo, little saw medallion. Beautiful. I was starting to think I wasn't going to find any today. And I'm doing along this track here, and I have a shallow sort of 22 number, and there is quite a bit of it's an old header for nail and old bits of brick and stuff. We've got a silver, and it is a threepence, and it is 1883. I can see there. Don't know if you can see it. Zoom in a bit. So 1883 Victorian threepence. So I think we'll just keep going, but we will see that one cleaned up in the wrap-up. But anyway, that's cool. A bit of silver on the track here. So I'll see if there's anything else around. Now just down here is where I got the threepence, and over here had a 14. We have got a button. Now it's very kind of hard to read here, but it says, I think it's bright, but I could be wrong, something IGHT, and something Hitchcock, so possibly Hitchcock or something. But down the bottom it definitely says Geelong, so something and Hitchcock and Geelong. So I'll have to clean it up a bit better at home, but I don't believe I've found that one before. I could be wrong, but I don't think I've found too many Geelong buttons. William Hitchcock emigrated from Devon in England to Geelong with sons George and Walter. They started a drapery shop, Hitchcock Brothers and Company, between 1850 to 1852. And they went into a partnership with William Bright in 1853 under the name W.M. Bright and Co. After Bright retired in 1857, the name changed to Bright and Hitchcock. The business continued changing hands until it closed in 1979. However, the building still remains to this day. So this button I found with the name on it dates from somewhere after 1857. I'm coming back down a run past where I got the threepence and the button, and right up over here a bit more had a 10, and we've got a corset fastener. So 3 signals here, all in a row, which is interesting. But anyway, so I'll see what else is around. Had some pretty squawky signals down here, and it was fairly deep, and I reckon it was on its edge, because ringing up at 29 we got that, which I thought couldn't be Britannia because it was reading so high, but I can see Britannia there. I've already given it a bit of a brush, and I reckon it says 1884, but it's a bit hard to see, but I think it's 1884. It's definitely Queen Victoria's head there. So anyway, it was down a fair way, and it wasn't the best sort of signal. But anyway, we've got a copper coin as well. Now, down here I had a really scratchy sort of good numbers, and I thought, oh yeah, probably be a nail or something, but it's worth having a look. So dug it up, and it's still scratchy, but this thing came up, and I thought, oh yeah, copper, off-cut of copper or something, but I do reckon there's a ring. It's got a big stone in the middle. It's a bit squashed, but otherwise I'll give that a clean and see what it looks like. And there we have our ring. I'd say it's just a piece of costume jewellery, but anyway, it's still got the stone in it, which is nice. It has got a split there, and it's sort of squashed in, so I'd nearly say it isn't meant to split there, so it's probably broken and then been squashed. But anyway, it's still a nice old find, and I'd say it is pretty old brass ring. So anyway, I'm sort of half wondering if I can straighten it out, but I don't really want to break it in the process, so maybe I'll just leave it as is. Anyway, We're back out at our Half Crown settlement, and I'm doing a sort of a new spot. I have sort of been down here a little bit, but not a whole heap, so rather than walk over to my usual spot, I thought I'd come in here and see what we can find. And there has been quite a few signals down here. The reason being, I think that up here was where, you know, there was buildings, and down here is where all the rubbish migrated to, so there's all sorts of rubbish down here. However, you know, big chunks of brass and what else have I found? Horse buckles, and I think I found a watch, a piece of a watch, a fob watch. And down here I had a signal, and we've got that, which is a round curved bit of brass. Looks like it's been on the lip of something, so not exactly sure what that was, but it looks like it's been around the lip of a big jar or something. Don't know. Anyway, but out of this hole, what also came up was this, and I thought, what is that? It's pretty light, it's got a little bit of weight, but what interested me was these two little eyes looking at me. So I'm not quite sure what that is. So I'll give it a wash and we'll find out, but I'm assuming it's some kind of marble, but I don't know what the two eyes are for. So whether it's something else, I don't know, but we'll give it a wash and we'll come back for another look. I'm tending towards the thought that that was a knob off a teapot, or a lid off a jug or something. That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing, just because it's a different sort of colour where the bottom would be, so I imagine that's been glued to the top of the lid, but I would have thought it would have been fastened a bit better than just glue, so there's no sign of it being broken off anything, so I don't know if that theory is right or not. So I'm a little in two minds as to what that is. Well, I think today might be the day for unusual finds. We found the marble with the eyes on it, and then I'm still digging rubbish. I've dug a couple of pieces of old clock and all sorts of bits of tin and aluminium and you name it. And I had a good signal down here. What do you think we have here? It's certainly a lot bigger than I was expecting. It does look rather figure-ish. What is that? Is that a monkey? It is too. Jolly old monkey. Not sure what's going on with his eyes there, but we're definitely going to have to give him a clean. Looks like he's been stuck onto something at some stage. So we'll have to give him a clean. Looks like he's been red painted it in his earlier life. Anyway, I'll give him a clean. Don't quite know what he's made out of, but certainly an unusual thing. So we'll get some water onto him and a bit of a brush and a bit of a stick and poke all that out, and we'll be back in a tick. So anyway, set him up there and we'll give him a bath. Poor little chap. There we have him cleaned up somewhat. He's red on the back and he's got a gold sort of belly and face. So some kind of cast metal, but it certainly rang up well, so I don't know if it's, don't know. Anyway, I'm not quite sure what he was. I was thinking maybe a pencil sharpener, but it's not going to probably be easy to see down there with this, but I can't get the sun to go down there. But anyway, you can see the backs of his eyes. They only go in about that far. Now right down there, sort of in under that root there, we got a corset fastener. So it gave us a bit of a chase down there. But anyway, I have dug a few bits and pieces in the interim, mainly bottle caps and jar caps, and found another horse buckle, basically identical to the first one, and that's really about all. So anyway, we'll keep going, see what else comes up. Just down there I got a little buckle, like a watch buckle, a little brass one, and then I had a sort of a predominantly 19, a few 18s, and it dropped out here. And we have got that, whatever that is, brooch. Maybe it's a rising sun, is it? Yes, it is. So that's a rising sun, Australian Commonwealth military badge. So they are cool. I haven't found one of those for quite a while actually. So they're always nice when they come up. I'm sort of a bit out of time, so I might leave that one to clean up later. But, you know, I think it's going to clean up pretty nice. But anyway, Australian Commonwealth Military Forces. Anyway, got the two loops on the back. But we'll see that in the end of the video. I think we'll give it a clean and when we get home. Over here is where I found the rising sun badge, and found a little hingey thing here and another signal here. I've sort of moved aside some sticks and stuff. Had a 20 down here. I reckon we could well have a penny. So no idea what sort of age it's going to be, but ringing down lower, maybe it will be a Britannia. It's sort of feeling a bit like it's a bit lumpy. So I'll get a date. There we go, 1910. So that'll be Edward the 7th. Anyway, somewhere on there, you can just see him there. Anyway, we might clean that one up later, and we'll see it in the end of the video. Still in the area where I got a penny, and I've had a sort of another 20 signal here, and it was a little bit shaky, but I've dug it out, and it's a beautiful 20 now. So we're going to see what it is. Somewhere in the top of this clod here. So let's see what 20 is. If I can find it. In this bit I can see something sticking out. It may well be another little buckle. And it is too. Now that is exactly the same as the other one I found that I didn't show you. And I said was like this I'm heading back to the car, so this could be our last signal. I'm back to sort of where I started because that's where I was near the car to begin with. And I'm digging away down here. There's a fair bit of old glass and stuff coming up. But our signal was this one, which I'd say is a light surround, possibly. It's got a little thread in there. But anyway, it's a nice ornate little piece of brass. So either it's part of a lamp or something that came out of the wall, or a switch. So possibly a lamp screwed onto there, but anyway, something electrical, I would say. And we're back out at the Half Crown settlement, and apart from rubbish and one button, I haven't found a lot yet, but I'm in the area where I found the I was over here somewhere, the top off the German pipe and shilling and a couple of threepences over here. So I'm back in this spot. Had a 29.30 here, and we have got that, which I'm assuming's the, well, I don't quite know what it is actually, but anyway, it's got a cross-hatch sort of pattern there, which made me think it might have been a petal of something, but I don't know. Don't know what it was. It almost looks like a pineapple. So it's a chunky bit of brass, and I'd nearly say it's the pedal lever off something, but I'm happy to be proved wrong. But anyway, don't know what it is, but it's brass and it rang up rather nicely. A scrap of brass over here, and down here quite a deep signal. We got that, which don't know what it is exactly, but the surround off something maybe. But anyway, it was down quite a way. Probably a pinpoint and a half almost. Down this bank here, and in the roots of this old fallen tree here, I had a good signal, and indeed there's another good signal here which I've got to chase up later. But our first signal was this one, which is a saw medallion. I've sort of lost our sunlight, but I did clean him up, and that is a Diston and Sons of Philadelphia. I think it's shortened to Philada in there. But anyway, so a saw medallion. So it was running its way down the bank here, and we're going to see what this other signal is before it gets lost down the bottom of this ditch. So anyway, we're back. If it's anything good, we'll be back, otherwise we'll keep going. But anyway, it's always cool to find an old saw medallion. I found one out here, one of my last trips, and it had the kangaroo on it. So it was an Aussie one. This one's a American one, I think. How's that for a chunk of lead? Got a bit of weight to it. Don't know what it is. It's got a couple of grooves around here. So it's obviously had a purpose, but as exactly what, I don't know. Anyway, it's going to weigh me down. I'm still going along this bank here, and well, it's not much here, but along there you can sort of see where there's glass and stuff coming out, and you know, there's a few signals down the slope here, but haven't found much of interest other than that big chunk of lead and heaps of glass and stuff. But I had a signal just here, and you know, as you're on a sloping bank, you want to try and not let whatever it is roll down when you dig it out. So I sort of flicked a bit of leaves up here and it moved. So it wasn't far under, and it's just here, and it is round. So I'd say that is a halfpenny. Can't see a milled edge, I'd say it's a halfpenny. That might be George the sixth actually. So not quite as old as I thought it might be. It's going to be a Roo halfpenny, which explains why it was ringing up at 27. And 1940, 43 I think. So we'll give him the honours of a brush and we'll be back in a tick. Got out into some sunshine here, and not the cleanest coin ever, but it's not bad. 1943, I think that's focused. And George the 6th, so that side's a bit nicer as far as cleanliness and shininess goes. So anyway, that's our first coin for the day, and not bad. We rescued him from tumbling down the ditch. So I have found a couple of, you know, George coins in this sort of area here, which is sort of strange because there was a few in this area, and all the other coins, you know, along further have been either Edward or Victoria, and a few earlier than that, I think. But anyway, so for some reason this particular spot and across the road where I got the shilling and that, there's a few more modern coins, if you'd want to call them that. So a few of the George eras. Anyway, it's a nice coin. Let's keep going.